what's your name? Lanolin? Like sheep's wool? Okay. You know, I could see through your sweater. Oh, hey! G.I. Joe fans, Joe Motion Videos 82 here. It is time for another G.I. Joe toy review. It is nearly October 31st. Tomorrow, Halloween, my most favoriteest of all holidays. So I'm real enthused about that, don't I? I really did have ribs for lunch. Pretty good, huh? So, tomorrow will end this month, the month of weirdness, in the G.I. Joe collection. And believe me, I have plenty of weird figures to last me a while for several other reviews. So, with all that being said, I shouldn't eat ribs. Not before a review. At least floss. We are going to be looking at a pretty cool toy. There's something my dad instilled into me. I think this really fits in with not only his personality, but the Special Forces motto. Sorry, I wish I could figure out how to shut that sound effect off. It goes along with the Special Forces motto of free the oppressed. Dad has always been a supporter of the underdog. If it was, from defending somebody who's been bullied in public, to buying lunch for somebody who was homeless, or taking an alcoholic to an AA meeting. And my dad, wow, 43 years sober. And that's a fact I'm very proud of. He was really looked up to in his AA meetings, because there weren't very many around with his seniority. And so he instilled into me to go for the underdog, to support them. And don't always go for the popular vote. So I've passed that trait on into my toy collecting. And so I really like, as you guys may know, I like the weirder side of G.I. Joe. I like the bright colors that came out starting in '89 with the Alley Viper. And it just went up into the 90s. I mean, we had some garish colors. Long arm wearing just a pumpkin orange suit with splashes of black on him. A lot of the Alley Vipers, electric blue and blaze orange, and oh, I'm just looking around my room, just picking up these weird action figures. Oh, and my boy right here, Monstro Viper. This dude is cool. He's not complete. I would review this guy. Also want to get some Play-Doh before I review him, so I could show you how his gimmick works. But he's a lot of fun. My nephew was playing with him the other day when he had come over the day that my father passed away. And so I was keeping he and my niece entertained back here in my collection room with my toys. And they enjoy playing with them. And they're very careful with them, so I don't mind. I think they're teasing me more about owning toys than anything. Oh man, what would a niece and nephew be without picking on their poor uncle? So, with all that being said, we're going to be looking at the 1986 Boar. You know, there is a popular YouTube channel out there. I couldn't get a hold of him in enough time to ask him for permission to use his name. Name of his channel. Otherwise, I would let you guys know. But he did a rating on G.I. Joe toys, the top 10 worst G.I. Joe toys. Boar was on that list. Now, I have fond memories of the Boar, 86 and 87. I have very fond memories of this. I've talked about him before, but my G.I. Joe buddy, John, my best friend as a kid, from about the 4th grade on, he and I were really good friends until he moved back to Colorado. I remember going over to his house, and he always had a new toy every week, literally. And he had Boar out, and he was putting it together. And I remember just looking at this thing, saying, "Man, that is so cool!" You know, it rides on a tread, and I'm knocking down my background display again. And there's only one little problem with it. Now, I'm sure you guys all know what it is, but if you don't, I'll show it anyway. My channel. And you know, for an inexpensive toy, it has an incredible amount of detail. But the Boar was first released in toy stores in '87. It sold until '88, and when it was discontinued in '89. So it had your typical 2-year run. It did make appearances, obviously, in the commercial. That's how they sell it. It also showed up in 2 Nintendo games. This one I did play, the Nintendo by Capcom, that game. I did play it, and I remember going up against the Boar. Or my brother did, I think. But I could never make it past Overkill for some reason. I just could not get past him. And the Taxan version of Boar was, or Nintendo Taxan. I'm not sure how to say those. Nintendo game by Taxan, I think. Yeah, the Boar was in that one as well. It also showed up on trading cards and the comic book. And I did not write down which issue the comic it showed up in. I apologize for that. There are no known variations of the Boar from that period. The Boar is in its own category, let's put it that way. There was only one of them. They didn't reuse that mold for future versions, or even versions for Fun School or Action Force. So I don't know if it's because of the unpopularity of the vehicle or what it is, but I really like this vehicle. I like the idea that it could go underground and come back up somewhere else. And it just really inspired creativity. And it sold for $2.39. That was the price of an action figure. All right, an action figure back then. You could get a vehicle, a relatively inexpensive vehicle, for the price of an action figure. And if I were heavily collecting G.I. Joe at that time, I would have pounced on that. A vehicle, just, I think at that time I only had the only G.I. Joe vehicle I had was a Trouble Bubble, the Cobra flight pod, and I had gotten that for Christmas in '85, and so I had to collect vicariously through John. And his mom thought of me as a son, and I thought of her as her mother, and John, my brother. That's just how close we were. I was over at that kid's house almost every day, all day on Saturday, and he and I just had the greatest time together. And my parents knew if I wasn't home, I was with John. And Saturdays were a lot of fun because his mom would take us out shopping. She always saw that I had a little bit of pocket money. She never gave it to me. I had to work for it. So I would do some yard work, mow her lawn real quick, and she would give me like $5 or $6 for mowing a lawn that's maybe the size of an average household kitchen here in the United States. And so I was able to buy 1 or 2 Joes with that. And I think yeah, this one particular trip, before I get into review, I'm sorry, I love to reminisce. These toys bring back so many memories, and I think that's why guys like us collect them, because the nostalgia, and nostalgia is a good selling point. This one particular trip, I spent a night at his house, and we went to Lionel Playworld, which is a branch of Children's Palace, which was in the Midwest. And I did shop at Children's Palace when I lived in Ohio. But Lionel Playworld, they always seemed to have toys that were marked down, which was great. But the newer release toys were obviously at their recommended retail price. And I bought Tomax and Zaymot one trip, and man, did I love those guys. Still do. Finally got them completed, so I'll be reviewing them sometime down the road. But I remember drawing pictures of the Cobra emblem and hanging up on my wall, and Extensive Enterprises and all of that, and that stuff stayed up there for forever, and I had the file card clipped out and hung up on the wall. And another trip, I bought Crimson Guard and Barbecue that day as well, on another trip, obviously. So, you know, Patsy Hancock is her name. So she helped me with my toy collection. And, you know, she knew that I came from a family that was struggling financially. And so I think her put me to work, really, she was doing that to be nice. And she's a nice lady anyway. So without any further ado and boring you with my childhood stories, let's go ahead and get into this review, because I've been excited to do this. I've really been looking forward to it. And Lanolin, could you adjust the lighting in here for me? Did your parents hate you or something? And you, Lanolin? Jeez, thought Byron was bad. Lanolin? Ooh. Alright, so let's get into this review. Alright, so here it is. Boar. And if I can remember correctly from the packaging, it showed the Viper in there. So let's go ahead and get into some of the details here on the Boar. The parts that are easily lost and broken are the gun. Oftentimes you'll find that on the aftermarket without a gun. And of course these very, very tiny missiles, kind of an orange color. And they slot right into here. You pop them in somewhat easily. And you know, it slides in. So that was a cool play feature, because you could just see how easily they fall out, but it would just slide right out like it was shooting. So those are very easily lost, but also they're very common on the aftermarket as well. And I'll cover all that when I get into the my pricing segment. The door, kind of tricky to open. It slides up and over. You see the door is graded. Has a very, very nicely sculpted Cobra sigil on there. That was a part that I really, really liked as a kid. You can see that it's a very claustrophobic vehicle. The seat is real nice. I mean, it has some nice textured padding on there. Has a little joystick. And up here in the back, you see that there's, thanks Landlord, good lighting. You see this. I always thought of it as being a window. There's a little bit of machinery in there, and I thought that was an air conditioning spout, like on an airplane, that you adjust it for the air. But this vehicle, like I said, it is very claustrophobic, even for an action figure of its day. So pose him before you put him in, and you really have to crunch the poor dude to get him in. You know, if that way doesn't work, obviously, put him in head first, swing the legs over. So I gave the demonstration on both halves of that, so you can see which was easier to put in. See, his feet are pretty crunched in there. He cannot hold on to the joystick. There's just no way that he can, but that was a nice feature. And the door just closes. Now this vehicle was intended to go underground, and these wheels don't really work very well on styrofoam, but you get the idea. The tread spins and it will go underground. And if this was a real world vehicle, he couldn't have that grate being open, because he would just get flooded with dirt in there, dirt and groundwater, if he goes down that deep. But I would hope not. So thank you, dude. So I won't get into that, but on the other side he has a gun, twin barrel laser, some other machine works. I take it this is like the exhaust. And you know, for being a excuse me, a relatively inexpensive vehicle for its day, this is pretty nice. Very easy to put together. You put the seat on the back, put the tread on one side, snap the two pieces together, put the door on, bada boom, bada beam, Bob's your uncle, and you have yourself a nice vehicle to play with. But on the carpet, there we go, getting the tread to work a little bit. I have to put some pressure on it. But on the carpet, it works really well. Some of these you might find snapped off, depending on how hard. They're real sturdy, but I've seen one on the aftermarket where those are snapped off, and these were chewed up. It really looked like a kid was putting it through its paces out in the dirt. So there you have it, guys. It's not a real popular vehicle with a lot of collectors, but there is a fan base out there for it, as there are with everything. Fan base for Globulus. Hey, Yeti. My buddy Yeti is a big Globulus fan. There's a fan base, like I said, for everything. Every weird G.I. Joe that people don't, for a popular consensus, don't like. There are others out there who really do like it. And like I said, I'm one of them. I am the guy for the underdog. So let's go ahead and conclude here. All right, so the idea of the Buzz Boar was later improved upon with another subterranean vehicle. Very cool vehicle. At first I was, kind of wishy-washy about this guy. It's from Rise of Cobra. But after I bought it and put it together, it came with most of the stickers attached, most of the decals, which that was the fun part about putting these things together, was attaching the decals. At least that was my favorite part. This vehicle, as I'm talking, I'm dusting it. I have it stored in a plastic bag now to make room. But the mole pod that came with the Terra Viper, and let me show you the Terra Viper. So go ahead and watch my chair. Make sure nobody gets in it. So the Terra Viper is a really cool figure as well. I mean, he's on the weird side. He looks like a monster to me. I think they should have called him the Mole Viper, but Terra Viper is fitting too. Terra, like terra firma, the ground. Very, very cool action figure. He has the double jointed knees and the double jointed ankles. Has this little oxygen thing on the back. I'm not going to review it just yet. That's probably for next year. But I picked that one up relatively inexpensive from my buddy Joe at the Golden Toy Palace. He has a lot of stuff that he sells on Amazon. So check him out. Look up Golden Toy Palace. He has some very, very cool stuff out there. So I think I paid like $14.95 for it, 2 years ago. So let's get into my favorite segment, griping about the prices. All right, with this, there isn't much to gripe about. I bought this guy a year ago. Didn't have the missiles or the gun. Paid $5 for it. I obviously had to buy the missiles and guns separately, but we'll get into that part. So right now I just barely checked the eBay prices. My buddy here selling without the missiles and the gun with blueprints. $5. 5 fazuls for this. This was not a very popular vehicle, like I said, and there are a lot of them out there. Very common on the aftermarket. It's a great, pardon me, a great vehicle to army build with. You get a fleet of these. And I mean, you know, the Terror Viper's generic, so you could have 1 million of those guys, which he doesn't fit in this. I already tried. And you can really whip some butt on G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe doesn't have any subterranean vehicles. That's how they infiltrated the pit in the movie. So, NATO, you better step it up and give G.I. Joe some nice subterranean vehicles, huh? And if there are some out there, I don't know about them, let me know. I'm still learning about this. And the more I do these reviews, the more I learn, and I learn a lot from you guys too. Let me know different things down in the comments, which I really appreciate. So, this guy being loose and complete, meaning he has his gun, 2 missiles, starts at $5.99, goes up to $13, and the one for $13 has the blueprint with it. There is one that comes complete with the box, which is $49.95, and I think that's still pretty good. $49.95 is you're getting a box, and it's in great condition. Whoever owned it really took good care of their boxes. There is a 25th anniversary edition out there, which I didn't know there was one until I researched this. $89.99, and my gosh, is it awesome. It makes this look like a bathtub toy. It kind of reminds me of General Grievous's wheel bike that he had in episode 3. It just didn't have the little legs on it, and I think maybe Star Wars was stealing from this idea. After all, G.I. Joe or Hasbro, I think, did kind of take the idea of Boba Fett's helmet, which is freaking awesome, and kind of design the head of the bats with. Just maybe. It's okay to borrow. It is. Just don't perjury yourself. Commit perjury and copyright infringement. So an idea is okay to expand upon. Although don't take any of my ideas, we'll have something to say about that. Right? Take any ideas of sitting in a green recliner, eating ribs before your review. This video's copywritten, you know. You're gonna take that idea from me. So, further on, the blueprints by themselves, $2.99 to $5.75. Not bad. The gun goes from 99 cents up to $3. The missiles, or missile, go from around 99 cents each to $2.99 each, depending on who you buy it from. The door, $1.99. The track, $1.95. And this, I think, is a smoking deal. Somebody's selling 2 of these. They're not complete, but 2 of them with free shipping. I like the word free. Free is good. Free is always a good thing. Free shipping, $18 for 2 of these. So for $18 plus, let's go with the cheaper prices to buy the gun. So $18, $20, $21. So $24. You could have 2 complete vehicles. That's without shipping. But I would spring on that. I mean, it brings them up to 14 each, but I like when things are bundled together like that. So I really didn't have any complaints about this, about the prices on this. The only real complaint that I have, outside of the action figure being hard to stuff in there, and the tread or the track not working on styrofoam, but it does work really well on carpet. Most of my dioramas are made out of styrofoam anyway. I like to paint, but yeah, I can't complain about the price on this, guys. I honestly can't. And you know, I need to vent my frustrations on something, so I was picking on poor Lanoin today about her name. And what? You're calling your attorney now? All right, go ahead and call your attorney. I know a better one. So this guy, for me, definitely beyond contestation, any form of doubt, any way, shape, or form. In all points of the dictionary, one thing I forgot to point out, the gun. Oh man, how could I have forgotten that, man? The gun moves. Pretty cool, huh? And just snaps onto the back there. Popped right on there. How could I have forgotten that, man? That's... Sorry. This is, in my eyes, the top shelf toy. And I do strongly recommend that you buy one, especially at these prices. If you guys are following the market on the internet, you know that the prices are going up and up and up. And I've noticed a trend with this since I started following reviews about 4 years ago. I started following reviews, 4 or 5, and I noticed that the prices, the more people are reviewing, the higher these prices are getting. This vintage toys are smoking hot right now. So yeah, everything's available, but you're going to pay out the nose. I mean, especially for some of the harder to find action figures, like Starduster. I think the highest, somebody was wanting like $2,000 for one. Like I said in the past, you could ask for anything that you want. It's your item. Whether or not somebody will pay that is a different story. Steel Brigade is another one. Hard to find at a decent price. The Blue Ninja Viper. I mean, these mail orders are action figures. They fetch a higher price, and of course the more popular troop builders are a little more expensive. The Viper glider pilot, you know, he's expensive as well. So yeah, so just let you guys know, get ready to pay for stuff. You know, for other people, you know, these deals might be good, but for me, I like to stick with a budget. I don't have money falling out of my pockets, so the budget's good for me. And on a more serious note, I want to thank everybody out there who has passed along information on my GoFundMe page to help my mother with my dad's funeral and medical expenses. A few of you out there have donated already, and I've already sent you personal notes, but thanks again. I was deeply touched that you guys did this. Even strangers that I've never met. Well, they're not strangers, they're my friends now, but people I've never seen face to face, but I've talked to online are donating, and also strangers that they were just passing along this information for me on social media. Just your thoughts alone, really, is knowing that you're keeping my mother and I in your prayers. That helps. That helps so much. Today I'm doing a lot better. Yesterday I was kind of a mess, but it comes and goes. That's just the grieving process. Yesterday I was still in denial that he had died, even though I was there when he died, even though I went in and dressed his body for the funeral. Everything logically was telling me that he was dead, but yesterday I was like, it can't be. It's Dad. It's my hero. That's that tough Green Beret that a mortar couldn't even kill. And it's true, a mortar blew up next to him and shot him a few hundred feet away, just knocked him out. He still has shrapnel in his back from that. But yeah, he, the man was larger than life, still is, and today I'm accepting of that. He's passed, and I could walk by his picture without crying today. Can't say that about tomorrow or the next day. And Mom's even doing pretty good today as well. But I just want to thank you guys for that. It means a lot that I'm getting support from you. And any dollar amount that's paid is beautiful. So she doesn't know I have that up. And I'm going to surprise her with that. So anyway, guys, thank you so very much. I'll probably, if all goes well, I'll have a video up tomorrow, final video for this month. But if that doesn't make it online for some reason, you guys have a safe and fun Halloween. Make sure you check your kids' candy. I just read something on MSN.com that a kid was trick-or-treating on Sunday, and this could be fake news too, so I'm not putting a lot of stock into it. Why trick-or-treat on a Sunday 4 days before the holiday? But apparently his candy tested positive for methamphetamines, and he ended up having a seizure from it. But so folks, parents, check your candy. Throw out anything suspicious unwrapped. Make sure you have a flashlight when you're out. I used to take a light stick and pin it to the back and the front of my daughter's costume so people could see her coming and going. And I even wore one. These people are idiots, especially on their phones now, driving. So you just never guarantee that somebody's going to stop. So be careful out there. If you come to my house, be eating ribs. All right. So thank you guys. Thank you very much. Please don't forget to like this video. That way I know you guys are watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this video. Also follow me on Patreon. Any dollar donation is accepted. Go ahead and leave me a one-time tip on coffee. All that will be down in the description below. That'll help this channel continue to grow, continue to prosper. And I'm up to 111 subscribers. I never thought I would get this high, and I am thrilled. It's a small group, but things that are condensed usually are better. Yeah, you guys are great. Thank you so very much for subscribing to my channel. I promise I'm working on getting things better. As you see, I have a little intro video. I'm going to keep that trend up until I get some better software, because my computer is so freaking outdated it won't even keep up with the camera my buddy gave me. It won't allow me to upload some stuff from the camera. And the camera's so nice. It's a high definition camera. Shut up, landlord. Alright, guys, have a great day. Bye-bye.